here. All right, guys. We're going to start day 6. Just want to take a second look. If you guys look, we are right at the end. We got this week, day 6, 7, 8, 9, kind of new lessons. And then next week, next Tuesday, so a week from today, will be a homework quiz. And then right after that, there's only 2 more assignments to do. There's the final, the multiple choice finals and the extended response. So we are really getting to the end here. So today what we're going to do, it's kind of difficult a little bit, but I'll show you guys a couple tricks that we can do and how to make this easier. So open this up and I'll go through. Oh, yeah, we'll save that now. I don't think I changed anything. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to find the average value over the function and then one value of x inside that interval that equals the average value. So that's a lot to just like read through and take. So let's just make sure we understand what we did last week on Friday, which is find the average value. So to find the average value, remember we had to do 2 things. We had to find the total value or the integral of the function in that range and then divide that by the number. So if you remember, oh, I got to get my calculator out here. What we had to do is, come on, load up. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so we have the integral 9 minus x squared. So I'm going to do math 9 to get the integral. And we're going to go from -3 to +3 of 9 minus x squared dx. And the total value from -3 to 3 is 36. And then what we need to do is divide that. So we'll divide that number by, well, what's the range from -3 to 3? That'd be 6. 6. Okay. So we get the average value is 6. That's what we typed in last time, but this is not what we're going to do today. Today, what we're going to do is go back. Okay, when does the average value equal that number? Or when does the function equal that average value? So let me see if I can do something here. Oh, let's annotate here. So we know this function, 9 minus x squared. Ugh. We want to figure out when does it equal the average value of 6. Okay, so there we go. Now we got some math problems going on here. So we're going to take the equation today, find the average value, and then go back, set it equal to that. So, okay, we can subtract 9 over. So we get negative x squared equals -3. And so that means x squared would have to be a +3. And so we can find the x would be plus or minus the square root of 3. So that's what we're going to type in here. We're going to get the decimal answer of that. So let me get my mouse again. So, okay, what is the square root of 3? 1.7321. 1.7321. And it just says just find one of them. So like here we have 2 answers. So what I want to do now is just kind of show you this problem again, but we're going to use Desmos. I know Desmos is kind of good and kind of bad sometimes. This is actually not too bad if we use Desmos. And I can do a couple things to help kind of clear up what we've been doing. So I'm going to clear this, clear all my drawings. I'm going to go to Desmos. I'm going to type in the equation. Okay, so I'm going to just say f of x equals 9 minus x squared. And on Desmos, if you afterwards use the braces, I'm going to say from -3, which is less than x, less than x, or less than 3. What it does, it just shows you here. Okay, so this is the graph we're looking at. What we wanted to do is to find the integral of that function. So we did, okay, what's the integral? And how we have to do it on Desmos isn't the best way. From -3 to 3 of f of x dx. Well, we did this already, which is 36. And so we can make like a new line and say like y equals 36, which is total integral, divided by the range 6. which is 6. So we get the equation y equals 6. What we're doing here is to figure out, okay, here's our equation. Here's the average value. When do they equal? And we can just click on them and we get our answers. 1.732, negative 1.732. I guess it doesn't go to the 4th decimal place, but there we go. So the one thing we're doing, actually, I'll change a range here from -3, which is less than 3. Okay. What we're trying to do, in fact, let me get a little fancy here. Jesus Christ. The biggest cat in the world just ran through my backyard. A fat cat. Okay, sorry. What we are doing, I don't like that color. So the whole point of the mean value theorem is we have this curve here that we have an area of. We want to find like what would be this flat line, this constant line that would have the exact same area of this curved shape. So if we kind of look at that, it kind of makes sense because if I cut off these two edges, they probably would fit perfect. Actually, they would fit perfectly into this space here if I could remold them. So the goal is, if we go back to this question, we're going to use Desmos to kind of help us out a little bit. If we look at this equation, when do they equal? So we got to take the integral of this function, and then we're going to divide it by the range to get the average value and go back, set it equal to that. Okay. So let's jump into this. This doesn't look like it'd be a fun one to find the integral of, but let's type it in. Let's try Desmos. Yeah, Desmos will be fine here. So we got 4 over, okay. So I'll just start over here. I'll get a little 4x, already forgot it, squared plus 1. 1 divided by x squared. Is that what it was? And no, that's the project that we'll have. Okay, 1, 3. Okay, and we're only looking. All right, so we just have this. Turn that off. Okay, so we want to find the integral, not from negative. We want it from 1 to 3 of f of x. So we get 10.6 repeating. I wonder if I can do this. Can I put this whole thing in parentheses? Sorry, I'm messing around with something as we do this. And then I'm going to divide this by, okay, here we go. And I'm going to divide that by 2, because there we go. All right, so we get 5.333333. We could math enter that, but I'm just going to type this into Desmos a bunch of times. Turn this back on. Okay, so what we got going on here, if we look, we have this curved function here. We're trying to find the average value of it. By doing that, we took the integral of it from 1 to 3, and then we divided it by the range, which is 2, and we get 5.333. All I did, I made a line, actually I made a nice little shaded graph here. I want to figure out when does this function here equal that, so I'm just going to figure out where these two cross, and it's at 1.732, which is literally the exact same answer we got from the last one, and that works out. 1.732. I'm going to put 2, 1, because I know that's going to be the square root of 3. So is this better? Should we do like functions or should we do graphs? What works better, do you think, Mallory? Like, should I do more like on the calculator, like the TI, than this, or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm a visual person, so it just kind of works out that way. But I know what we're doing, so it makes sense to me that way. But I'll do more calculator on this one here. All right. So what we got to do here is we got to find the average value. So we're going to do math 9. We're going to take the integral from 0 to 1 in this next problem. And we type in the equation 4x cubed minus 3x squared. We could technically do this the long way, remember, by bumping it up to the power and then plugging that in, but we're using the calculator to make our life easier. Okay, we get negative, okay. Hopefully you guys know what this means. If we got negative 5.5 e to the negative 15, that's 0.0000, there's 14, that's basically, it's 0. Okay, we okay, that's 0. And if I divide that by the range, which is 1, it's still going to be 0. So, okay, this is equal to 0. What we want to do now is, okay, we want to find out when this average value equals 0. So I'm going to take out my draw here, and I'll start drawing. When does the equation, oh, no, I didn't click the right button. There we go. When does this equation here, 4x cubed minus 3x squared equal the average value, which is 0? So what we want to do here is to go ahead and to figure out when this equals 0, so we have to factor some things out. So I'm going to factor out an x squared, and I would get a x squared times 4x minus 3. Set that equal to 0. So this is stuff we did a while ago. Perfect. All right, so one thing, we split this up into a couple problems. When does x squared equal 0? Well, that'd be at 0. Perfect. And then when does 4x minus 3 equals 0? Well, we'd add 3 over, divide by 4, so that'd be 3/4, or 0.75. Now, the one thing that we want to do is name it the x value that's in the interval of this. Technically 0. Oh, man, I think my kid's streaming too much. Technically 0 is kind of, I don't know. What we're going to do is 3/4 is definitely in there, so we're going to put 0.75 in down for our answer. 0.75. All right. Okay, and we got one more problem here. Okay, I trigged one. So same thing, what we want to do is to find the average value by first finding the total value, math 9. So there's 3 steps in these problems. We find the total value, and we're going to go from pi over 2 of the function cosine of x. You got to close that parenthesis, dx. All right, the average value between, or no, the total value is 1. Then we got to divide by the range. So then we need to divide this by, from the range from 0 to pi over 2 is pi over 2. And so we get this number here. All right, so we get 0.636619. Okay, what we want to do is find out when does our value equal that. So when does cosine of x equal that? I'll just write it down here. So we want to know, when does cosine of x equal this number right here? Well, all we need to do to get rid of the cosine is do the cosine inverse. And so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to do, okay, cosine inverse of that answer, second entry. And there we get our answer, 0.8807. 0.8807. All right, let's see if we got that one right. Submit the quiz, 4 out of 4. Okay. So this one was kind of tough. We had to do 3 steps. And I think there'll be one problem on the quiz like this. You have to find the total integral, divide it by the range to get the average value. Then once you have the average value, set that number equal back to the function. So, and then we got to solve from there. Okay. We got any questions there? All right, so tomorrow what we'll do, we'll apply definite integral, so we'll switch it up a little bit. This will actually be closer to what we did in the last section, except for we have some story problems, and I'll just kind of walk through how to make this pretty easy. So, all right, well, that's it. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow. Good one.